Hello, my name's John, filmmaker and mildly experienced walker, and in the summer of 2022, I decided to go on another adventure. I wanted to walk a 150-mile route around the magnificent county of Oxfordshire. There'll be highs.
I've never been so happy to leave a road in my life.
And lows.
God, I don't know how that happened. I'm going the wrong way.
And lots of walking. Please enjoy this episode of the series I've so inventively called Walking Oxfordshire. Now well into the second half of my walk around Oxfordshire, I'd started walking south from Banbury in the direction of a road which I could take that would lead me to Bicester, where I'd be staying at a travel lodge that evening.
This is one of the routes that says it leads to Bicester. Well, if I do that, I go into Northamptonshire, which is not good. I don't want to go into another county in this whole trip.
I'd started to run into problems though, and things were only getting worse.
My neck is killing me. With my bag on it and the camera, this gets too much. I still think we're on track to arrive at Bicester for 6 o'clock though. But anything can happen. The good news is, I'm at the junction where I turn off for the road towards Bicester. The bad news is, this is turning into the hardest leg of the walk. This is the worst I've felt since the second leg. Will I be able to do it? I don't know. It's going to take about 10-15 minutes to sit down here at this bus stop, because I need it.
Well, as it turns out, I stayed there for just a little longer than 15 minutes.
Gotta be honest, I got sort of lost on my phone then for a second. I think I've been there for about 20 minutes by now. May as well go, because it's about 3 hours until I get to Bicester at least, so it's at least going to be 5:30 when we get there. 7 o'clock, let's say. I said 6, that's same for some. This is turning into the hardest leg by far. I now know why I'm not getting a lot of footage. It's because I'm focusing more on just trying to get there. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing that I'm trying to focus on trying to get there, because I won't get a lot of footage.
I need to distract you from my struggle for a second to tell you what I was seeing on Google Maps around here. I was in the village of Somerton and thought in my head I was following this road straight on towards Bicester. The road I was currently on did lead to this great view, but little did I know, I was on the wrong road.
I made a bloody wrong turn. Oh my god, I don't know how that happened. I'm going the wrong way. I don't know how much progress I've got to go back on.
For the past 20 minutes, I'd headed south when I needed to be going east. Luckily, I caught it before it became way too late.
At least I found out the top of the hill, not the bottom.
That silver lining aside, I was still stuck in this predicament.
Okay, I'm going to make a deal. I'm not going to film until I'm back on the correct road. Can't believe I had to go back to where I took my last break just to get back on the right road. Now we are on the right road. Still going to take a long time. I can't even add a but to that. It's just going to take a long time.
These things happen whenever you're on an adventure. A painful day, a miserable feeling, a wrong turn. I've been lucky to avoid the last one so far, but when it happens, it happens. The time I lost, I'd never get back, but I still had to make it to Bicester that evening on foot. So that's what I did. Having made decent progress since this mishap, I was now in the village of Ardley. Not too much further on from this point was something that could keep me going, a major landmark of eastern Oxfordshire. Throughout this whole trip you might have noticed a lack of motorways, and that's because the western side of Oxfordshire is completely devoid of them. The same cannot be said about the eastern side, as it is dominated by the M40. Shortly, I'd encountered the first of 4 times I'd crossed that major road, and it finally gave me something to be excited about.
Very windy on here. I feel like I'll lose my hat if I stay there to get any more shots. In the far distance there's a distance sign, not the M40. I could have got a shot of it on the bridge over the motorway, but I just got a shot of it then with my really long lens. It's really far away, I can't read anything from where I was standing. Hopefully later on I'll look at the footage and see what the distances are.
Despite how shaky this footage is, I can decipher that at this point I was 13 miles from Oxford and 21 miles from Tame. I was much less than the 7 miles from Bicester the sign was saying, so thankfully I was at long last making progress.
Look very worrying, but I'm not worried at all because this is the Bicester Ring Road.
After this long day, a sign that it was ending was more welcome than ever. Even the sky was looking more upbeat.
There's a rainbow over there. I had to get a shot of that incredibly quickly because they only last a few minutes, but oh, that's so nice that. Yeah, we're in Bicester now. Bicester's one of my favourite towns to look at on Google Maps because it's basically a circle with a little bit cut out. It's so good to look at. Not a very nice journey to get to the town, but very nice to look at. Now I've just got to see how good the town is itself. Very simple and easy to check in, not the walk. Oh my god, I'm so happy I'm here. I'm very happy I'm here. Tomorrow will be a more relaxed day. Certainly it will. But yeah, speak to you soon.
After dinner and a couple of drinks at Spoons that evening, I had a good night's rest before the, in theory, much easier and more exciting day tomorrow.
But as always, it's another day of walking, another travel lodge. They look exactly the same. Pretty big day today. I'm getting to Oxford itself after going to everywhere in Oxfordshire that isn't Oxford. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of sights in the second half of the walk. The first half, probably not so much. Although it will have something interesting. I think I'm going to be walking alongside the A34 for a little while, which I didn't even know was possible.
Turns out there are some brief parts of the A34 where there is a footpath, and I'd be on said road for 2.5 miles that day after I left Bicester. From there, I'd follow the A4165 all the way into the heart of the city of Oxford, where I'd be staying at a bed and breakfast called Sportsview. Overall, this day would only be around 13 miles long, which was quite good, especially as the 2 that followed were going to be way longer.
I've really just started walking and my neck already hurting again. Oh, I've still got 4 more days to go. Oh god. I don't know how my neck's going to be by the end of the last day. By the end of today even.
You may just about be able to tell that I was a little pessimistic, but there was still a small part of me that was working correctly, and that pushed me onwards to Bicester Village.
The biggest road I've seen on the entire trip so far. Most of it's just been like smaller A roads, smaller roundabouts. No, this one's big junctions. And you can see why, because it's Bicester Village. If I was more into shopping, I'd definitely go there, but I am not into shopping at all. So you're just going to get a couple of shots and that's it. to the next village. It starts with a W, but I can't remember what it is. I've seen signs for it all the time, but I can't remember what village it is. Oh, we're going up to another village.
Around this point of the walk, I slightly rolled my ankle. It just seemed like a minor knock at the time, but it would end up being a much bigger problem later in the journey. It would honestly affect me for the next month after I got home. Another more immediate problem was also making itself known.
Google Maps isn't registering the footpath on the A34, which I'm 99% sure I saw. If the footpath doesn't exist now, then I'm in so much trouble. Like, I am in so much trouble, I might have to think about getting transport to Oxford. Yeah, but we shouldn't let that happen. Currently nearly 11:30 already. I should start tomorrow and the day after, well, definitely the day after, way earlier. 1 3/4 hours I think I've been on the road so far. Not made much progress. God, okay, right. Took 5 minutes here and then we'll carry on. Second time crossing the M40, not as much on that crossing as the other one, although there is one thing, that roundabout over there is where the southern section of the A34 begins. Where I lived in Winchester was very near where it ended. So yeah, that's the only interesting thing about that crossing. It's half an hour, I'd say, until we're at the A34 itself, and then we'll see if there's a footpath.
At long last, a bit of luck. The footpath was there.
Perfect! We're on the A34. We're walking the length of the A34. No, we're not. Just a little bit. Oh, there's a footpath though. Thank goodness. Wow, it's like being on a motorway, this.
Walking the A34 is something that sounds a lot more interesting than it actually is. What I failed to register is that for the next 2.5 miles, I was following a loud, busy and straight road with very little to see. It didn't help that the footpath itself was not helping my recently injured foot.
I haven't made much progress, but I've had to take another break. Oh, my feet are now, I think it's hurting, not my neck. My feet now. It's starting to get a bit too much. The walk is finally taking its toll. And trouble is, I've got 3 more days to do after this one. And one of them's the longest day. I really don't know if I'll be able to do it. This really is a low point. Nearly 1 o'clock. Oh my god, I don't know how the rest of the day's going to go. Or the rest of the walk. I thought walking the A34 would be fun. It's really not. This is not fun at all. It's just such a long road. The landmarks in the distance are just so far away. I'm coming up to a junction now. Well, I say coming up, I'm still about 5 minutes away from it. I've been seeing it for the last quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. It's just too long.
There was an upside. Maybe because the road was so straight, I ended up not noticing that I'd already walked nearly 3 miles of it. So before I knew it, I was coming up to the junction I wanted.
Well, that's what I like to see. Next exit's Kidlington, that's the one I want. It's only half a mile away. That's all good news. And there's even more good news coming up. Apparently I've already gone 4 miles up the A34. Oxford's only 5 miles away by now. Again, still don't know how long it'll take me to get to Sportsview, the bed and breakfast I'm staying at, from the edge of Oxford, but as long as I'm off the A34 I'm fine. So yeah, 5 miles, let's do this. I've never been so happy to leave a road in my life. I thought it'd be a good idea walking along the A34. No, it wasn't. I can't walk up it any further even if I wanted to, because there's no footpath further on. Anyway, we're officially off it now, and we're heading towards the southern tip of Kidlington, and then into the northern point of Oxford. Go check the phone to see how I'm going to get there. Roundabout I'm coming up to is a very important one. For one, it links up with the road which I was going down yesterday, so I could in theory have just walked from Banbury to Oxford Probably would have been better that way, to be honest. Also, I'm turning left there, and that should be the last major turn and change in the road I need to do all day, because it's pretty much just a straight stretch from there to the city centre. I am telling myself I can only take a rest once I've passed the ring road. I don't know how far it is, but I know it's somewhere around here, and that's when I can take a rest.
Now entering Oxford, I must discuss the ring road. The city is surrounded by the A34, A4142 and the A40, where I was just heading up to. This results in Oxford having a very clear boundary, like the M25 in London. It gave myself a good point to aim towards and was a big landmark of the day.
Oh, that was the ring road. I actually expected it to be a flyover. No, it's just a roundabout for the ring road. Also, that was the A40. Last time we were there was at Burford. We walked pretty much from Burford. Crazy that. I'll find a bench or something and then I'll take a rest, because I need one. Who says I couldn't stop at a bus stop? So hard to work up any energy to walk any further. I've still got another hour according to Google Maps. Okay, I can do it.
With hopefully a bit more scenery along this route than what I had experienced so far that day, I progressed into the city.
Whole day there's just been really long roads, this one no exception. At least there's people on it, at least I'm not the only one walking it, unlike the A34, but oh, this is such a long road.
At the edge of the city centre lies the Eagle and Child, a pub with a lot of history for fantasy lovers. I really wanted a drink there, but alas...
it's not open. For those of you who don't know what the Eagle and Child is, it's where C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien and others formulated all their stories, well, most of their stories. Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. Ideas came up at that place, and as big fans of both of those series, bit of a haven for me, isn't it? It's also somewhere that links that pub to me though. I was in Oxford about mid-2019. So yeah, mid-2019. I was in my final year of uni. I needed to think of an idea for a film for my final project. So I thought, to get the creative juices flowing, I'll have a pint there and write down some ideas at the Eagle and Child. One of the ideas I wrote down became our final major project. Don't know why it's closed. Wish it was open.
The Eagle and Child isn't the only spot in the city that holds a place in my heart though. Because of a reason I'll be explained next episode, I found myself in Oxford at least 15 times over a 5-year period. Beyond just that, the city is a personal favourite of mine. The atmosphere, architecture, history and activity, it's everything I love. The only downside is it is very expensive, but that's a small problem for a tourist. I love Oxford. Having now been to a fair few places on my travels, it's certainly one of the best. The only problem was the day I decided to pass through, it was graduation day, which meant...
I thought it's busier than London. Jeez Louise, there's barely any space to move.
Despite how busy it was, I was finally having a good time walking again. But even at this point, I knew the joy was only temporary. I was nearly at the bed and breakfast, and there I'd have to make a very big decision about what to do with the remaining 3 legs of walking, because I was still very exhausted, and I still had around 45 miles left of the trip. Would I manage it, or would I have to concede defeat? You'll have to find out next time.